You know, one thing I'm sure about is that the Eagles' window is wide open. It's wide open, not just for 1 year or for 2 years, but for the next 8 to 10 years. That's why next week when training camp opens, I cannot wait to see these new young offensive weapons take the field together, because they're the ones that are going to be terrorizing the NFL for years to come.
Double move on the red.
Everybody, Lou King back here, and we are almost at the end. We've almost made it. We are about a week away from training camp, and it's been a really long off season. But I guess that's what happens, you know, when your team adds pieces, when they bring in players that make them a Super Bowl contender, that get you excited. It makes the offseason drag on forever, and it has been. It has been a long offseason, but we are almost there. Training camp is upon us. I cannot wait. Now, before I get into the rest of this video, I want to take a second to shout out Fox87. Now, for those that know him, you know what a great kid he is. He's just a good kid, good heart. He's been a great supporter of this channel. He's a great supporter of many channels. And, he's just a good kid. And he's had problems with YouTube. I think he had over like 1,300 subscribers on his main channel. He got locked out. YouTube hasn't gotten back to him, hasn't helped him to figure out what's going on. So it's forced him to make a new channel. So I wanted to put his link in the description, and definitely go sub him up. Those that have been subbed to his main channel, go sub up his new channel, because this is where he's going to have to do content until he can work everything out. But Fox87 is a good kid, and by all means he deserves every sub he's gotten, and I think that you guys should definitely sub him up. But shout out to Fox87. Hang in there, buddy. I'm sure everything will work out soon. Now, the other thing I want to tell you guys is today I am having a poll. I'm having a poll question, and the reason for this poll question is my wife thinks that this beard is disgusting, scruffy, ugly, and that nobody in their right mind would ever want me to keep this beard. She says that she never had any intentions of marrying a lumberjack. I told her, I'm not a lumberjack, I'm a paisan with a scruffy beard, and she don't want to hear it. She don't believe that people want the beard. I tell you, you got to give the people, you got to give the people what they want. Give them what they want. They want the beard. She's like, no, they don't. I'm like, oh, look, I'll trim it up for you. I'll trim it for you. No, she don't want it. She don't want it. No, you don't want it. Okay? Now, truthfully, it drives me nuts. It's hot. I would like to shave it. But it drives her nuts. It drives her crazy. And I totally enjoy that. I really do. I enjoy it. And so, you know what? I want to keep it. So, you guys are going to have to vote and tell her and show her people want the beard. So, the poll question for today is this: should I shave my beard? Yes or no? And we'll see what the results are. And if they're what I expect, you'll continue to see this beard. If it's not, maybe it's time for it to go. We'll see. You guys decide. So thanks to the man with the ugliest feet in all YouTube, Chief Special Effects Coordinator and NASA's Employee of the Month for July, Bad Dog, the Mad Dog who knows his Giants always stink. There's been a lot of talk about the Eagles' cap situation, a lot of talk about the Eagles' window for winning and how long that really lasts. You see, Bad Dog did a video where he was basically saying the Eagles better win this year because cap hell's coming. Now, I don't agree with everything he said, okay, but I'm going to leave a link to his video in the description box. Check it out, sub him up, and this is not a rebuttal to that video. If you want to see a good rebuttal, I say check out PR52's video. He did a great video, a great rebuttal to Bad Dog. I will leave the link to his video as well in the description. Sub him up because he said it perfectly. I couldn't say it as well as he did. He did a great job explaining it, and I think it was a very good video. But I will say this: the one thing I do agree with Bad Dog on, you have to draft well. You have to draft well, but that doesn't go just for the Eagles. That goes for every team in the National Football League. And if the Eagles have drafted as well as I think they have the foundation of their offense for the next several years. So one of the things I'm super excited about heading into training camp is to watch all these young offensive guys that we got, because I think over the last 2 years, I think the Eagles have drafted really good, especially from the offensive standpoint. Okay, I think they got some really good guys. Now, yes, I know you can't just assume a guy's going to be good. He has to go out and show you. But if the guys are as good as I think they are, the Eagles have their offense set for the next 8 to 10 years. Set for the next 8 to 10 years. Now, we hear so much about, well, the Eagles are getting older. Deshaun's 32. Alshon, he's like 30. They don't have many years left. Jordan Howard's in the last year of his contract. You need to get good draft picks and guys that could come in and step in eventually and be your starters. That's how you make things work. And when you look at the Eagles and what they did offensively and what they have, I think they've done it. I think they've already done it, okay? Let's take the quarterback position, right? Carson Wentz just signed a mega contract. He's 26 years old. He has plenty of years left. He has weapons, Ertz, Alshon, Deshaun, and those guys all have to be replaced. I think the replacements are already on the team, okay? When we look at Dallas Goedert, who was drafted a few years ago for the Eagles. I mean, they jumped Dallas. They jumped Dallas to get Dallas, okay? That's what they did. And Dallas Goedert came out last year. He showed that he could play in this league. He has Pro Bowl potential. So eventually, I don't know when, maybe 3 years or whatever, they're going to get rid of Ertz. Maybe it's contract related, age related, a little bit of both. And when you do, you have to have a tight end that could come in and play. Well, guess what they got? I think they got a guy who's a Pro Bowl caliber tight end in Dallas Goedert. That's what he is. Ertz goes, he slides right in, boom, Wentz has his tight end now. Then, when we look at the running back situation, Jordan Howard is in his last year. I think Howard's going to be a good running back for the Eagles, but because of money and situations like that, I don't know that they'll resign him. I do know that they have high hopes for Miles Sanders. They think a lot of Miles Sanders. They were shocked that he was there when they drafted him. Okay? Miles Sanders has a lot of potential. Now, look, I'm not saying he's Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is, a once in 25, 30 years type guy. They did go to the same school. They played together. I think Miles Sanders can be a Pro Bowl type running back. I think he could be that kind of guy. I think he could be a LaShawn McCoy type running back and what he was for the Eagles. I think he could do that. I definitely do. So if he comes in and does that, which I believe he will, guess what? The Eagles now have the running back of the future. So you now have your quarterback, your tight end, and your running back. They're all taken care of. Now, when you look at wide receiver, and this was a sneaky pick, okay? JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I don't know how I missed this guy leading up to the draft because I didn't spend any time. I just totally overlooked him, and I regret doing that. But everything I watch of this kid, he reminds me of Mike Evans. That's who he looks like to me when he's on the field. He looks like Mike Evans. Maybe not as fast, but he looks like Mike Evans. And when you look at what he can do and you look at what Alshon, they're very similar skill set. And it's very possible that within maybe 2-3 years, maybe less, he could take Alshon Jeffrey's spot on the outside. He could be Alshon, and what Alshon is to the Eagles right now, that could be JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I think he has that kind of talent. I cannot wait to see Arcega-Whiteside play this year because I think he's going to give Nelson Aguilar a run for his money slot. I think he's going to be a very effective player, and I think that he is good enough to be an outside wide receiver, a big physical outside wide receiver like Alshon Jeffrey is. So you now have him. You have Goddard, you have Miles Sanders, you have Carson Wentz. You have your offensive weapons for the most part. You still need to get another deep threat on the other side. Maybe a backup running back. You're going to need to draft well in the offensive line, but they did draft their left tackle of the future in Andre Dillard. So the Eagles are pretty much set offensively as long as these guys pan out, and by all indications, I think they're going to. Now we're going to see for sure, but I think the Eagles have done the right thing. So a lot of these big cap guys and older guys that are on there right now, they're already replaced. Their replacement's already on the roster. They just need to let these guys grow and learn to play, and they'll be able to fit right in. And I think when you look at guys like Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, and Arcega-Whiteside, they're all going to contribute not just in 2 or 3 years, they're going to contribute this year as well. So obviously you have to continue to draft well. It has to be more than just 2 years. You have to continue to replace the older players with good young players, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball as well. But what I'm so excited about this Eagles team and what we've done so far with some of our young guys is I believe that these guys are not just guys that could come in and just replace a guy, okay, just fill in and do an adequate job. I believe these are young guys with high ceilings that could, in some cases, be as good, if not better, than the guy they're replacing. They all have tremendous talent, and this is why I think the Eagles' window for winning isn't just 2 or 3 years. I believe it's 8 to 10 years, because I believe that these young guys that they're going to step in are going to be really good, and because they're really good, it's going to allow us to do other things on the roster in order to keep putting out a Super Bowl contender. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. What do you guys think? What do you think of Arcega-Whiteside, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert? Do you believe, like me, that these are the foundation for the future of the Philadelphia Eagles? Because I do. I believe that not only do we have guys for this year, but I believe down the road our foundation is already set and secure. With that said, take care, talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.